Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL Pro League here for the first week of Season 6. My name's Dalsey, and joined with me is Flakes for tonight. Not the usual faces, I think, of this secondary stream, but a beautiful one nonetheless in Flakes, maybe not so much myself.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the evening. I'm really pumped to be here. I think we got a lot of really sick matches tonight. I was quite surprised to see some of the games we actually got laid out in front of us. So take it away, reveal the secrets.
Oh, well, before we do that, we've got some excellent matches, like you say, but what we need to know is who people's favorite players are.
That's valid.
Because, you know, we've got some excellent matches coming up. You know, we've got people like Guardian and Olaf. Maybe those are your favorite players. Head over to PaySafe to vote. That's
pick the easy ones.
Who's your favorite player? Go on.
I'll go with Nico, man. Come on.
Nico? That's good. We're going to see Nico later on. We'll get to see how he goes up against the CIS giant that is Na'Vi. Let's have a look at the standings for this week. Let's see what's happened so far in the Pro League. Some interesting results, perhaps. Up there at the top is FaZe Clan. The hype is real behind the European Dream Team Experiment, currently sitting 4-2 as far as that. And ahead of the pack, Na'Vi have not played yet, which is exciting to see because today is going to be Zeus back in the roster for the first time, leading the ship, hopefully towards a victory, I think, for Na'Vi.
Hey, I believe. I think, biggest thing is to talk about is FaZe, as you said. The newly anointed world super team, I think, is the fairest way to describe them. So hoping we get to see some pretty sick stuff there. Yeah,
well, let's have a look at the schedule then and see what maps and matches we're going to be seeing today. It is EnVyUs versus FaZe for our first series of today. Going to be very exciting to see if the FaZe hype train continues deploying out of the station. Is train up first, so puns on point. And then Na'Vi versus Heroic straight on afterwards. It's the first Na'Vi game we're seeing with Zeus back on the roster. So super exciting to see how that comes about for them, I think.
For sure, I think biggest thing to go into straight away is Envy. They've had a pretty good few weeks. ESL New York for a start. That kind of screams out at you, right? So if they can keep this consistency, keep this win streak, 12 maps in a row, I mean, come on, got to start cheering for them. If they can get it up against FaZe now, that sets a precedent.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out later on for sure. Of course, Fnatic versus LDLC and North versus EnVyUs on the mainstream. But I think the party's here on number 2. Especially with the likes of EnVyUs. It's such a consistent team up against FaZe, who I think is kind of perhaps an unknown factor. How can Karrigan control Guardian? How can he control Olaf to kind of turn this team into a super team that I think in all rights it can be?
The thing is, it's not about turning them into a super team. You look at the names down the list, you look at that roster, tell me that's not a roster of players that everybody's been screaming about. I mean, for the get-go, you look at FaZe a while ago, everyone was like, Nico, come on, you got to get Nico. This guy is insane. The work he's doing with the Deagle, the work he's doing just in rounds in general, guy's tearing up in pretty much every single game, whether it's official, whether it's FBL. He's there and he's doing magic. Then they step up with this as well. I mean, you've taken all of these legends of these games, all these players that are known for popping off in huge ways, you've thrown them in one team. So it is a super team. There's no if, buts around it. It's whether they can perform up to the par that is expected of them and whether they can become the team that can compete with the Brazilians. I mean, we've seen Astralis kind of double within that, but they haven't really been able to consistently outcome them.
Look at this. The odds are just so heavily in FaZe's corner right now, 1.5 to 2.4. And I think, whilst you look at those odds and you scream FaZe, let's talk about EnVyUs. They are consistent. Yep. Recently have had some fantastic results. They, in the derby match, took down G2 for the qualifier for ESL New York and then took down previous major winners Gambit. Perhaps,
Slightly wounded Gambit, but...
Slightly wounded. People can obviously interpret those results how they may please. But it's still consistency at its finest. And not only that, it's kind of sticking it to G2, who kind of came into the scene and said, you know what, we're going to be the French super team. And EnVyUs are kind of questioning that statement.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot to prove ultimately, right? They're really trying to step up. And of course, the biggest thing going into this game for them is, hey, right, we can beat all of these various different teams. We can qualify for events. But what about dethroning a team that have yet to even reach the walkway?
Right.
If they can get to them before FaZe can even start to reach up for SK, well, they can start to try and pick off Astralis. that's a huge statement.
I think that's important to talk about because you think about FaZe with the addition of Carrigan, and they're a team that kind of was always struggling to make this European experiment work, and then Carrigan was the glue they needed to, and they made it work. They started hitting top 4 performances. They took home a title, but it just hasn't been enough, has it?
Well, then the major happened. They went 0-3.
That's it.
I mean, that was the real sour point, unfortunately. They had their ups and downs. They had their really amazing moments, but they couldn't quite get a long enough stint together to really be worth, talking kind of top 2 material, starting again to go back to that SK Australis type train. So for FaZe, now it's about finding something that actually cements them as that team.
And that cement, hopefully for them, is going to be Guardian, who's replaced Alu. Alu's such a fabulous AWPer in his own right. Certainly a star can be that, but I think no one would question that Guardian could outperform him given, the right day and circumstance. And then Olaf, he has been the face of Fnatic for how long? 3 years. It's
Started
incredible.
Started out in LGB and built one hell of a, I don't want to use the phrase brand, but as a history, as a legacy, he's literally come up from his Swedish roots, dominated left, right, and center. I mean, there's so much to say.
You don't need to be a CSGO fan to kind of put Olaf's face on Fnatic. So, tuning in to see him wearing a FaZe jersey is just a whole new world of wonders. And replacing Kiyoshima, this guy has had stellar performances. He's certainly stepped up for FaZe when necessary. But I think it's no doubt in saying that Olaf is the star power that FaZe really wants. Right now, we've got this team of just stars. Rain. It has just been an absolute powerhouse for FaZe so fast.
Never forget.
I'm hoping to see them. We've got a Train coming up, our first map, which is going to be very interesting. EnVy love Train. They have been performing hella good on Train in their last, 3 months of games so far. Something like a 70% win rate, and a lot of those are actually on LAN as well. And then you flip it over to Mirage, which is going to be our second map. They are just not performing on Mirage whatsoever. So, I think this is actually really important for FaZe. They're a team that needs to become perhaps one of the best teams on a certain map. Maybe Train's that map, maybe Mirage that's map.
I feel like with FaZe, it's all about them finding their identity right now. I mean, we could look at the past, we could dig through all the stats, all the kind of the history within the team and the individual players. But as a team right now, as a brand new 5, they are trying to kind of find see how they want to play. Carrigan is going to be testing a few new different things. I mean, Guardian is a name you talked about in terms of his performance. No one knows if he's going to be able to step up to those previous levels because, well, he's had a few rough performances already. He's been slowly but surely eking his way in, but then there's also been times where he's looked a bit of a lost lamb. He doesn't know whether he's looking left, right, and center because the synergy between him and his teammates might not be there.
That's something that we've definitely seen during this week is, perhaps just angles that should have been watched by Guardian because they've already been covered by Rain. He hasn't found his place as far as dynamics are concerned. So we may even see it, and if we see it, we'll try and just point that out because it's important for a team that's trying to find its place right now to kind of see where they're not, because they're going to, you'd think, with Carrigan, who's just kind of performed and consistently shown that he can take these teams of stragglers, perhaps misfits, always the best, but maybe not fitting into their own scene, their own domestic scene, and he's been able to turn them around. Now he has to deal with people like Guardian Olaf. And Olaf, on Fnatic, he's always been this kind of free spirit. Hasn't really enjoyed the super systematic approach of an IGL. So this is also something that I'm also excited to see is how does Olaf and Carrigan interact as a duoship?
I feel like with Carrigan, he just kind of wants to see how Olaf is going to play. He wants to see if Olaf is going to stick with that. Or he wants to see maybe he just let Olaf keep doing his thing. Maybe Olaf is going to be the kind of way for them to find themselves a bit of a pickaxe into each round. If they can use him to find a pick, he can then use that to leapfrog into rounds. I mean, there's so many different ways you could run at this.
Well, I think it's time to just get into this and jump straight on to Train for our first matchup of tonight. FaZe versus EnVyUs, and it is going to be EnVyUs on that T side as well to kick things off.
This is going to be one hell of a game. FaZe already going for just 4 sets of Kevlar, a kit on towards Carrigan, bog standard CT side stuff. You've got Nico, aggression straight off the bat though. That's one way to send a message. Found nothing with it, but Guardian, the man to look towards over on towards Ivy. As his pistol is going to be out, he's going to be going for a few taps. He finds it, there's one, going for a second, but straight on the trade EnVyUs will be, as they make it 1-for-1. Nico overextends RPK with the trade. Get a little heated. That's
a lot of info given over to FaZe instantly, with Guardian spotting out 3 down there by Ivy. But look at what EnVyUs are doing. They're rotating men straight over towards the B site, and they're going to try and pull FaZe right around the map. Looks like FaZe are reacting, though. They've got 2 men set up currently on the B site. And it does look like Rain is going to make his way over to Z Connector as well. So they could be ready for this onslaught, this entry of EnVyUs. They've even got smoke set up. This could be a bloodbath. RPK Looks for the pick, doesn't quite find it. That's the flashbang, but it's not going to do much. Olaf currently sitting on the side, spotted out. Can he get the shot? He can, that's a double! And that should just shut down the attack right there where it stands. Happy trying to finish it, but he cannot. Olaf with a huge 3K to shut that round down.
The tunnel vision going in on towards that Karrigan kill means that finally when those players coming out from ramp check off Olaf, he's there just basically going, you know what, I'm going to just tap away with my USP, I'm going to knock you down before you even get going. FaZe, a pistol win. Envy, time to see if you're going to invest. Of course you are. Pistols, Deagles, Tech-9s. Scream, what do you get to show for yourself? He's been a monster with that Tech-9 in the past. Yeah,
no, for sure. This is perhaps a chance for EnVyUs, a very unlikely chance, especially considering CT dominance here on Train. You know, FaZe lost out very recently to Big just yesterday on Train, 16-10. So, you know, this is a map that I think FaZe will certainly want to be testing their spirits on and trying to find their identity, with Guardian especially. Look at them just take them out. 1, 2, 3. Very simple stuff with the FaMAS. You expect him to do that every day of the week, and now XMS left with just his Deagle. Will finish the job onto Nico, maybe find Guardian as well, very low. But those two frags, whilst flashy, perhaps not really going to be enough to win a round.
Yeah, try to find himself a way back in, coming up against the FaZe clan cleanup crew. They stand with just 3 more foes in front of him, searching for a pick towards Bomb Train, but he knows the problems are all around him at this point. He is effectively surrounded. Whether he knows someone's IV or not defeats the point. Everywhere he has to check, everywhere he has to look, and Rain has his number, takes him with the UMP. Money to be made. FaZe 2-0. Envy, they are going to be basically sitting back now. They're going to be thinking about those future rounds, thinking about that first buy. This round for them is talking points more than anything else.
Yeah, trying to work out exactly how they're going to execute the next round, what angles they're going to test. Because FaZe have kind of had a fairly clean affair, and if they're able to have another one in this round and keep the majority of their members alive, that AWP will be coming out very swiftly for Guardian, and something that has just so powerful on Train, especially when you've got Nico in your roster as well, who can really fill that secondary role of an AWPer. Train, double AWP, setups. FaZe, in theory, should be a team that really rivals on this map. Just have to see if FaZe will be able to find their identity right now, as EnVyUs currently on the slow pace towards this B site. Nico going to be holding this angle with his FaMAS, spots them out, just trying to find the heads. He will find one, but XMS is able to trade.
Envy just a bit of a ticking time bomb ready to explode on towards this B site. They charge on forwards, but the SMGs are all there to play. 1, 2, all the kills roll on through. The M4A4s doing work. 2 kills for them individually coming up trumps as well. FaZe clan 3-0. Eco washed away. Envy, here's that first buy though. The AK's already entering the fold. What more is going to be done? Are they going to go for that AWP-6? They're thinking about it. Very much going to be on his mind, but no, they offer 5 AKs.
It's going to be up against the double AWP setup that Nico and Guardian can so rightly bring. This is a tasty round. EnVyUs with the AKs. A bit of utility as well. Not as much as perhaps they would have wanted. It's not quite that full buy that teams really value on Train, but it is a buy they can work with. It really just depends on the opening frags. EnVyUs have such a blunt statistic. If they find that first frag, then they're so likely to win the round. So heavily likely. Up there in the 75% roughly. So they're really needing to find those opening frags, and when you peak for it and an RPK goes straight down to 23%, that could just be that mental game that works against you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a swift trade of blows. That's all it really comes down to. RPK 23, Nico on 6 HP. It's a win-win for both sides. They're not really going to be complaining about it at the moment. They're going to be focusing on still trying to find themselves that entry point on that T side. Searching towards Ivy. Guardian putting them under a lot of pressure. That's a problem now. 8 HP on him. Getting a little bit more cautious as both those AWPs excruciatingly low. Scream, ready to charge on through. Envy, they have all the pace. But are they going to know Rain's position? The flash comes out. Rain is ready, finds one. Scream, instantaneous headshot though to take him down with a trade. Karrigan looking for one more. Olafmeister burning them out of the map. And then he finds a second.
Guardian just spots out Happy, and Nico will be able to trade the info. That's an easy round for FaZe. Things just didn't go right. The execute from EnVyUs wasn't quite there. That pop flash down Ivy was unaffected as far as Rain was concerned. He could stare directly at the enemies, and they were not expecting to be sprayed down so instantaneously. 4-0 now, and it is going to be Team EnVyUs once more, considering their options here. Deagle Train rushing out. But really, once more, it's just an info gathering round.
I'm not sure what's the more important scoreline, 4-0 or 7-0, because both FaZe and Olafmeister are just having a great start to this. Olof's been able to find so many crucial picks that a lot of those kills aren't completely meaningless. They actually hold a lot of value, both looking at the pistol and both looking at that previous round. In this one, Guardian playing nice and slow, content with the Ivy angle, just going to be holding it tightly to the very end, basically saying, Envy, you want to peek me? Sure, come at me. I'm ready, my scope's there. I should be able to find this frag. Better yet, I'll throw a nade right at your feet.
Almost caught out in timing, but he's going to be able to take down Scream there, and now XMS is considering, does he go for the shoulder pick? Misses the shot, but Rain pops out. That's some nice synergy that we're starting to see develop between Rain and Guardian this week. Really starting to become best of pals, and that's something that's really important, I think, for FaZe, is how does Rain play off Guardian? How does he kind of have his back and support him in those moments?
They're crucial at the end of the day. Those two are going to be a duo quite a lot now in the future, so if they can really just nail down on that chemistry, then there's so many things that they could excel at. I mean, just as simple such as, I'm going to throw a flash at you. I'm going to be here for you. You can set up this play now for yourself. Just know that I'm right behind you to deal with any shortcomings, any issues.
It's going to be this 6th round now. EnVyUs really desperately looking for a point on the board. Scream's going to rush straight into the B side, but he's getting sprayed down by Rain. Does take a bit of damage here, but he's managed to push up, and he's found Olof traveling up the ladder, but Nico with a save. And now it is going to be that man disadvantage for EnVyUs. Olof up in heaven. Guardian going to start whistling away, but they knew exactly where Olof was due to the information. So one back on the board. It is an even game. XMS up close. This is falling apart. It's all on Guardian now. He's got 2 already. He's going to have to find 2 more if he wants to keep this round alive. Bomb being planted as we speak. And that's going to be another going his way. Guardian, he's turned this into a 1 versus 1. And XMS, he's blinded right now. Cannot peek. It gives Guardian the chance to stretch his feet. Misses the no-scope, but he's still alive. He's going to look for the peek, but he can't quite find it. XMS able to hold that together for EnVyUs.
Such a good round played out by XMS towards the end of that. I mean, Guardian did create himself 2 opportunities, 2 respective shots. The flashes were actually really well put together, but unfortunately, logic did not prevail. Envy, this is your way in. You've got 1, now you're looking for 2. I don't have to state the obvious, but if they get reset here, they will not be sitting pretty at all.
No, it's devastating for EnVyUs if they can't find a round in the row. FaZe, they have so much economy built up because of the 5 points that they were able to get consecutively. Means that they've got this buffer that they can work with for the next couple, but EnVyUs no such luxuries. And it's going to be a swift change of plans as they're now poking around the B site.
They're seeing what they can find, basically testing FaZe for any more aggression as well. Bear in mind, for Envy, they're going to be thinking to themselves, right, do we need to be sitting back? Do we need to be defaulting quite a lot? Can we just go for this execute-based play? It's all about them getting ideas from FaZe, because FaZe, you can't just go and research them.
Not at all. 1-4, it's going to be Nico now making it a 2-3 as far as the setup is concerned, but Sixter going to find Nico. Carrigan on the bomb train. He's going to find 2 straight off the bat. Drops the bomb as well. That slows EnVyUs down royally. Looking for XMS. But XMS able to spray and pray with a dream. Sixter not quite the same luck, and XMS going to be shut down as well. Carrigan just able to do so much work there.
Fulfilling his job as the player of the backer site, basically steps into the role of the anchor for just a short moment and basically pins down the site. Gets 2 kills? Even when he gets traded out, that's a 2-for-1. Happy days. Guardian then kind of steps on him with the AWP, gets another kill. It sets up the round perfectly for FaZe, 6-1. Envy will now have no economy. This was that dire situation I was referring to in the previous round right at the start. It gets worse and worse from here on out.
It's not an easy task to come back into this for EnVyUs, and whilst they've been a team of consistency here, Flake, so far in their recent performances, it just feels like when FaZe are high, they are just soaring, and it's so hard to stop it. Currently, the team with the highest round difference, which just shows that, you know, when they are winning games, they're doing so by a margin.
For now, though, digging into the present, yet again, it is going to be XMS and Scream actually going for the run boost over just to avoid Guardian and his AWP, trying to move up closer, see if they can take the battle to a palm length. So he is going to be just peeking around, waiting to see if they are going to show any face at all, just a little bit of skin. Those pistols eventually going to be tested. Deagles, they're pretty crafty, you can take a head or 2. But at that sort of fight, I mean, I would put Guardian here as the winner. Smoke goes in as well, that buys them a little bit more time for the boost. Again, though, that smoke not really going to be doing Scream any favors at all, just a little too close to really be able to play around the tip of that.
Guardian not going to be able to find a cheeky shot. Scream did pop his head back down from that boost. The rotates are starting to come around for EnVyUs as Sixter peeks into the A site. Guardian will spot him jumping back over. There's just a dance on the train here. 30 seconds left. EnVyUs need to decide where they're going to go, though. Time is ticking, and it does look like they are setting up to rush towards this A site.
All it is just rotational play at this point from FaZe. The minute the smoke comes in, Guardian adjusts his position to be able to bear down these trains now when they push on out. Hold on a second, scrap that. The Deagle is woken up to play, but no, the rifles now being the true weapons, just the true firepower as Nico gonna knock them down with a double kill. And as simple as that, FaZe 7-1. Envy, still with so little money to spare, they're gonna have to sit out just another round.
This is a disastrous half for Envy. It's a half that, mentality-wise, I think you struggle to really hope for much. You know, yes, it's Train. Yes, CT dominance is so prevalent on Train. You don't need to be told that twice because it's just a fact. That Train, if you get that lead on CT side, you're in for a good run for your half. And so for EnVyUs, they are looking forward to that half-time break where they do get to switch sides, but they still need to put points on the board here, Flakes. They can't be heading into the half with just one.
I've got to interject, because you're using the half-time pause almost as a point of them to reflect and think. They have pauses for that. If they want to break the game down and just take a moment to think and just digest what's going on, they have the ability to do that. Not to be condescending or come across in any sort of brass way, but you just have to look at it from an objective point of view. If you need to slow things down, it's on you. It's your choice. They're letting this become a runaway train for FaZe. At least they go 1-for-1 here, the Deagle doing work, but yet again, it is going to be Rain to just fill the shoes of Guardian, be there with the rifle. And that's all he's got to do, just stick on by and make life hard for Envy. I mean, Happy, anything but at this point, still yet to find a single kill.
They need to get on that board. It is going to be Rain just holding Ivy here. The bomb's sitting there as well. It goes down, then Rain has a lot of control over the map all of a sudden, and oh, that's a double spray that you can't afford to lose. Scream able to trade it over. Just about, but it is all hopeless, as that is going to be Olaf finishing the job and recollecting the orb to keep it in the economy. Now EnVyUs with money here. They have had time, I guess, as far as these pistol rounds are concerned. Almost you could consider them a pause, especially the way they've been playing them, letting the clock tick down so they can discuss. And it does save that pause in their inventory. But this is a full buy. Look at their economy afterwards. They have just about $700 left in the bank account after this, and that is not enough to really string together multiple buys.
Nico, look at what you're doing, you little monster.
Oh,
trying to be so feisty. He does miss the shot. The aggression comes in. RPK looking for the double. He finds it, takes the head off of Karrigan, opens up the B site, but they're not going to bite for it. They're not going to go charging forward. They'll be happy to throw one smoke. But Envy, they're going to hold. Rain right on behind, about to find the trade if he swings over. RPK going to peek on into him. There's one going for the second. Happy, aware of the situation, taking just a few steps around it, but doesn't find it. Rain, the instantaneous double return. Sure, it's a 2v3, but FaZe, this is their round to fight for. Guardian close on the site. That AWP is going to be a real menace for Envy to tackle.
Wow, what is this round here? Looks like FaZe were just trying a little bit too much. Guardian sitting on that bomb train does get taken down. It's all on Rain to make the ace. And in the ESL Pro League, the aces certainly can happen. Online play, XMS up close. Are they going to be on other sides? No, he takes him down swiftly. Bomb planted as we speak. Rain rotating over to try and get a new angle. May get Sixter. He was not looking right. And it's just Scream left. Rain, one more, and he gets the ace for his team to keep them in this and make up for the mistakes. Taken down to 12. Doesn't buy it his way, but he is looking for the frag nonetheless. Scream comes through and shuts it down. There's a lot to talk about.
Scream, towards the end, was walking on thin ice. Shot after shot he was missing. Opportunity after opportunity. Down to the wire for Envy, but if there's anything going for them, they have a round, right?
They certainly do. FaZe is a team that has been looking to innovate, looking to push their boundaries, and you can certainly see that with Nico. Can I push up like this? Can I be that aggressive? Nico's a player who can do it, but in this circumstance, it didn't go well. But for Rain to instantly rectify and put a band-aid on that issue, it just shows the power that this team currently has. Yes, EnVyUs now a point on the board. Yes, round 11, they need to carry this forward. They cannot afford to lose it, because losing it is essentially saying, no more points, EnVyUs, for this half. So EnVyUs, really, considering they went down to just one member against Rain in the former Scream, they really need to tighten up.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to be a bit of a realist, right? Just because you've won a round doesn't mean you've won the battle. You may have just won one short piece of it, because at the end of the day, if they get wrecked out here, the economy game is basically all but whack for them. So let's see if they can give us anything at all, something exciting. Happy, the man who's struggling, is the man on a pistol. Sixer does have that AWP, so we can see if he can use that as a way to carve his way into the round, but looking like that's not even going to be coming through just yet. Guardian going for the wallbang. Why not, mate? You hit those every day of the week, so just keep on banging them home. And Zoloft ingrained in towards Pop Dog. RPK just pushing it around, ready to hit towards B. XMS finally the man to get going a little bit as he pushes through the smoke, but Nico, he's got that covered too. FaZe well held together, every angle held in check. The flashes not quite going to plan, but the boys waving the French flag. Problematic, to say the least.
Yeah, no. I know these rounds going envious way due to things that FaZe have been allowing to, but never mind, I say too soon. Happy gets himself a point on the board, and it's all been opened up like a can of sardines. Only Nico left alive in this 1 versus 3. Is going to find RPK, makes his way onto the site now, but look at Scream just lurking behind, and there's no way in. Nico's meant to know that's there. Almost given a chance to make a highlight reel, but apparently Fraps wasn't recording. 3-8 does mean that EnVyUs have done it. They bridged the gap, and we are going to see a pause come through as well. Tactical FaZe need to essentially work out what's gone wrong recently, because you know, round 11's loss for them, round 10's loss for them was purely just them stretching out, you know, trying to see how far they can push the boat, and you know, maybe that was too far from Nico. That was just sloppy from FaZe, well, and they cannot afford to continue that.
The thing was, they were holding the angles on B.
Right.
They were in the right position.
Exactly.
Give or take a few different perspectives on it, but for the most part, they were in positions where they could definitely make it work, but the shots just didn't quite go where they were intending. I mean, just a simple fact of the matter is they didn't kill the player sprinting out towards heaven. You don't do that. You open him to be able to get an overview of the entire site, call on everything for his teammates that are coming in from lower, and it just makes it look a bit of a piece of cake. I
hope this is now the snowball effect for Happy, because I think it would be a sad story for him if he was to enter the halftime pause and his only point, his only kill on the board was a Glock kill onto a rifler.
It was a very crucial kill.
It was a crucial kill. I'm not trying to discount the kill, because it won the round for EnVyUs, really did open up that B site. But now he needs to find that motivation, and I guess that effectiveness that I guess that one kill can sometimes bring you with your confidence. It
does go without saying the day to kind of cut the topic right there, and then he needs to step up if his team want to perform. They're at 3. This is the start of their journey, but the journey doesn't have to end if they just keep on playing with heart and soul and a bit of tactical soundness.
Should be a round that EnVyUs are able to take. Of course, the pistols for FaZe puts him in a dire situation, but EnVyUs are not messing around. Slow onto the B site. XMS pushes up and is able to take down Carrigan with that CZ. Things going well for EnVyUs, but Nico set up with the Deagle. Nice, and he will find that Scream pushing through the smoke. Going to enter Z connector, and that means they've passed each other, but Scream going to find the frag nonetheless. Should just be easy pickings. Olaf only 4 HP, and he will go down. And EnVyUs have found the motivation. This train has not terminated. Now on the 13th round with money back in the bank for FaZe. This is a time for them to try and shut down perhaps this momentum.
Thing is, that last round was almost minuscule in nature in comparison to this one, because the weaponry was on a complete kind of different end of the spectrums. You're looking at FaZe back with a double up setup, something they're being ever so persistent with on this CT side of train. They got everything they need, all the tools there. Sure, the utility is a little bit wish-washy in comparison to what they have had in the past, but they have enough. The smokes, the flashes, it's all there. FaZe, you change anything different? I mean, I'm looking towards map, we're still seeing the same sort of setup. I think arguably the only real big adjustment that meets the eye is the fact that less pressure onto Ivy itself and more floating just around those upper front trains, looking in towards their main, seeing if they can find anything in terms of those early aggressive picks, any AWPs peeking out from Envy. But Envy aren't giving them any of that respect, aren't giving them any of those engagements. Instead, they just sit back. They've got smokes in hand, they could walk out towards B. Sixer could look for this lower pick, but nothing will be found there. It's almost a bit of a stalemate depending on where you're looking on the map.
Carrigan has been shifting his position, kind of just being that anchor for B. Does have Nico to back him up this time, though, as EnVyUs have been putting priority towards this B side, and it's not something that FaZe want to allow. Guardian has to hold this. It's going to be another running boost. Oop, can they get it? Cue the Benny Hill. There it is. Nice. And Guardian hasn't spotted it. Now 3 men in Ivy. Does have that kind of intuition, though, to fall back, because it's a risky move for him to be that up close with so much firepower. Are they going to go for the double one? No.
What they do here is the CT site will throw the deep smoke. Rain will then going to get smoked out for himself. He'll push on right through, get aggressive, finds one, goes for the spray down, but the second doesn't connect. It will be a quick trade, a return kill from Scream. Sixer ready to push out from A main. olofmeister will be there to try and deal with him, but his attention is going to be focused towards Ivy as well. He's got a real problem as RPK swings out nice and wide. They're on the site, the dynamic duo of Scream and RPK, opening up the round, the double and a single. Sixer looking to join the party as Karrigan is going to be in connector, ready to contest him.
That running boost has been so crucial to EnVyUs to get them past Guardian's gaze. Now Karrigan with a hard task with the rifle is able to spot out the feed of RPK. Makes this a little bit more even, if not so an advantage. But Sixter will shut down that rifle, and now it's just NiKo searching for the members of EnVyUs. Does not have that bomb defusal kit, which means he is likely to fall back with AWP in hand and just save it into the next round. But EnVyUs have done it once more. They've held themselves together here. 5 now on the board makes this halftime score look a little bit more respectful for them on this train.
Foul towards the end means that it is just going to be a weapon loss for the EnVy camp. But at the end of the day, if you are EnVy, you do just have to bite your tongue right now. You do just have to keep taking it frag by frag, round by round, because this has been a real tough journey for them to get this far into it, but they are up to 5.
Yes. It's important, I think, for EnVy to have figured themselves out towards the end here. Looking at the economy, FaZe do not have a buy. They just have that single AWP, and it is going to be NiKo holding on to it. Guardian doesn't have the monetary to get armor, so just keep that on NiKo, and he does find a frag for himself. A second as well, NiKo holding this a little bit together. Olaf does go down, NiKo struggling, but he finds RPK's 3! Can NiKo single-handedly keep this round together? He gets spotted out? Yes, he does, and a quick flick from Sixer will put feet to body. Now in this 2 versus 1, he has to connect these shots at AWP against CZ, and Guardian now with the AWP. Well, that was easily taken care of, but here comes Karrigan from behind. They're going to meet each other very close. Karrigan looking for the head. It's a pistol, Joe! But a Joe that Sixer wins and keeps the dream alive for EnVyUs.
I don't want to say it, but you really got to hit those. I mean, come on, that is a kill. That is a round.
That is me playing
so
CSGO.
Much value. You need that round. You've already let them get to 6. You could be the team on 9 right now. That could be the difference between an 8-7 and a 9-6 half.
ESL Pro League. It is incredible stuff, this online play, and something that I think these teams will be considering as, on this last round, things are so important. EnVyUs could just be bringing this back to an 8-7. Who would have thought it? Such a dire first half of this. It is going to be Olaf finding that first frag for FaZe, something very important, as we've talked about. Now, EnVyUs pushing towards the B site. NiKo going to be watching up, trying to spot out RPK as he peeks, but he misses the flick. That means that now it's Karrigan's job, but he fails it. B side is open for all rights, and the bomb is ready to be planted. FaZe are now having to scramble to find this defense.
It's all crumbling to pieces. FaZe trying to get themselves into positions, trying to deal with this jigsaw puzzle that EnVy have presented. The bomb is ticking on down. The smoke's playing such a problematic part, but with 2 kills, Rain, another claimed on towards Sixer. It all looks doable, but Happy, he's got a Molotov. Let her remind you, this man has done it before with the same strategy. Can he do it again? Peeks out, finds the first, deals with the diffuser, so damn close. Happy, come on! The pistol is enough as NiKo does get the kill, but that may have bought him just enough time.
It is going to be just diffused. Happy almost finding it, but celebrations, I guess you could say, in there for FaZe Clan. They get that 9 point, they do take the half, and we will throw it to a short break, but when we return, it is going to be a hotly contested train. Welcome back to the ESL Pro League, and I think we have some things to talk about. It was such a clean opener from FaZe in the first half, really just sticking it to EnVyUs and showing that they had some sort of set plan for this map. And then things just went awry. The towers were knocked over. It's like a toddler just scrambling through, messing everything up.
It's so hard to know what went wrong. It's, you know, you can't argue there's too many cooks in the kitchen because Karrigan is the man calling the shots, but even he was struggling towards the end. 2 crucial rounds, 2 crucial picks that he missed. A second half that has to be so much better. FaZe on 9, Envy on 6. Is going to be Envy, of course, on that CT side. Kit, 4 pieces of Kevlar. FaZe opting for just 4 Kevlar standard utility play. They have got the molly on Karrigan. Let's see what he's going to do with it.
Just not a scoreline that you expect, I think. Coming into the second half, 6-9. Everything's wide open as far as EnVyUs' ability to come back. It was looking so dire at one point. But now, FaZe with a chance to at least put some points and separate the scoreline once more here. Get the ball rolling on their T side. All spread out. NiKo finds the first frag though, down the ramp towards B. That does make things a little bit easier. Now it's going to be Sixter holding, will Olaf peek? He is making his way over. Sixter's pushing. This could be a very aggressive position that Olaf may have not expected. He has XMS for the trade, and he instantly finds the shot. There's going to be Karrigan hiding away though, so they don't quite know he's there, but now Scream is dealing with a flush of terrorists, and they're going to take him down. 4-2-3 now. The trades come through, and FaZe have won the A side. Only Happy left alive, and he has to defend against 3.
Happy's been a problematic player all first half. Can he step up now for a triple kill in the pistol? They're pushing on through. He gets himself 1, but a quick trade from Guardian slits his neck with just simple ease. The USP doing wonders. FaZe, a pistol win, making that just another for them to work with now. You can't complain.
And EnVyUs with that very proactive, aggressive push. Yes, it found an opening frag, but what's worth noting is they took 2 men to do that, and it just allowed FaZe to enter the A site instantaneously and overwhelm Sixer by himself there.
It was a good response by them taking aggression on that T side to move back in towards A main, though. That's something that has to be noted.
Yep.
Trading off Scream is exactly what they have to do in that scenario to even out the numbers and get them a bit of map control back. Problem is, then they just got overwhelmed on the site. They lost a lot of those site-based duels, and that basically just left Happy in that awkward situation. It was a bit of a runaway roller coaster that they have to work on in the future to try and just kind of not let slip through.
For sure. It is going to be FaZe pushing close. EnVyUs are holding close angles, but that UMP in Karrigan's hand. Easily going to just shred through the CTs here. Should be a formality, but Scream says otherwise. Does find 1 in return. And now it is just FaZe looking to plant the bomb. Happy and RPK. RPK finds 1, and Happy is behind everyone, but Guardian will be watching. And that is an easy enough round for FaZe to take. They've separated themselves from EnVyUs here. They've got money stacking up, that UMP getting that bonus, $1. And currently, EnVyUs will be really heavily valuing their first gun round of this half.
I think a point for me is I feel like the longer this game goes on for, it's going to be getting better for Envy. Just judging by that first half, just judging by the way of Envy have been playing recently, a lot of their recent games have been close battles. I mean, sure, you kind of do write off some of the games they played on the qualifier for ESL New York, but for the most part, you've been seeing like 16-13, 16-12s. And that's because they've been sometimes not been getting the best of starts, but they have been able to conclude with a win. So if time kind of tells a similar tale here, then we are looking at an Envy side that will look to step up, which is why it's so important and apparent for FaZe that need to break away, which is why the pistol for them is crucial.
Guardian just holding on to his pistol so that he can start working towards that AWP, but it is going to be FaZe taking numbers here and overwhelming the EnVyUs defense on A site. Rain just put himself in a perfect position to pick off the right amount of people. 3 so far, and the bomb's planted for that extra economy as well. Looks like the odds have swiftly changed. That was a very close count, 1.4 to 2.5, but currently EnVyUs have the odds stacked against them. I don't feel like those odds actually truly represent the closeness I think this game still potentially has. So really, this round will tell us whether or not EnVyUs are here to party.
Let's see what they can show for themselves right now. Envy double up set up the same play that FaZe brought to the table, basically saying, you know what you can do, I can do better. But can you? Time to prove it. Time to show us what you've got. Sixer staring down Ivy, looking for that early frag. Finds nothing. Olaf Meister pushing out through the smoke. He got angry. He got riled up. They poked the beast. And he's going to be looking to do even more in the second half as well. Dives through the smoke, checks onto a site, deals with one, spins back around, Scream being left unchecked, gets himself a double, looks for a triple, but Karrigan, the UMP lurking in the shadows, steps out of place, takes down Scream, and that's a big return kill to find as it tips things over towards his FaZe's side, gives them a man advantage, gives them site control, and allows Nico to embed himself in towards Ivy to cause such a problem for Sixer, who's lurking in the back shadows with that AWP, trying to play peekaboo with his opposition. But can he even find a chance, knowing full well that Nico's there to lurk?
Yeah, that's exactly it. They were struggling to find the angle so they can get this bomb plant down, but now with RPK dead, Sixer finding the bomb, but Nico's behind. Nice little lurk, and that will put the points, maybe those odds, looking a little bit more favorable for FaZe, as EnVyUs losing that very crucial round. They're going to be back to the drawing board. 14-6 likely going to be the scoreline heading into the next round, Flakes. If EnVyUs can't pull a win there, then there is no win to be had.
Not to state the obvious, but FaZe, stay composed, stay focused, just keep on playing for that W. Don't let any stupid kills slip through. Don't let these Deagles start tearing your head off. Like, I mean, we saw XMS get a double kill within previous rounds just by just trying to be there, be annoying. So, FaZe, just mop them up.
Ooh,
There's one already.
They've stacked. They found frags, but oh, never mind. It's a rain train, and he is going to spray his way to fame. Does get taken down by Scream, but Guardian is able to finish the job. It's only Happy left alive. Almost looked good for EnVyUs there. All stacked up, looking for the trades with the pistols. Guardian will finish it off. 14-6 now, heading into round 6 as well. EnVyUs, it's now or never for them. It is the pinnacle round, the ultimatum. The question of whether or not they can take it to FaZe.
Once again, it is going to be the double up setup, the defining piece of CT side train, it seems, today. The rest, of course, going to be opting for those rifles, the M4A1S on Scream and XMS, and RPK just the M4A4. Wolfmeister already going for that same aggression, looking down towards Green Train. Sixer could be a problem here purely because of the lack of smoke. There is no wall to block his line of sight away, so he'll actually be checking that angle, but his attention is somewhat multi-focused. He's got to be looking all over the place, so that's going to be just a tough one for him to handle. Karrigan already taking down XMS, bear in mind, looking good for FaZe.
Scream needs to find this frag onto Karrigan. Does look like he's going to look for Olaf, but will turn face and didn't spot each other. Scream does find the frag. Very important now as they've got the man advantage and they're going to find people just stacking up, ready to enter. Guardian has to regain the bomb. He does not. The bomb's still stuck out there, and EnVyUs now biting to try and get control over this garageway. Scream pops his head up. Guardian not quite able to line the shot. Crosshair not there. Scream now going to just hold tight. 54 seconds here. FaZe in such an awkward scenario with Nico and Guardian to try and pull this together against 4. The Molotov to separate them from each other as well. How do they bury their way out of this? Oh, he misses the flick. They are going to push in, it looks, but Scream through the smoke takes down Guardian, and it's just Nico left. Has the bomb, but he is now pushed up against the wall, and it's Scream to finish the job. A little bit of an unorthodox round, I think, for EnVyUs, but a win that they so desperately needed.
I mean, the beauty towards the end is Scream just almost plays the distraction. He's dancing in the shadows, he's spraying away with you with a rifle. While the real problem lurks up above, you look to the sky, you see Happy with an AWP. That was a pick for him, and a pick that puts EnVy a little bit further into this game, up to 7 now. Looking to keep themselves going, of course. We talked about longevity behind these French boys. If they can start working their way through, can start getting these rounds back to back, the odds of them winning become ever more apparent. Not because of the scoreline, but because they do get better. The longer the games seem to play out, they just get more composed. The calls seem to start to straighten up. Almost experience starts to really come into play.
All about being comfortable in your own skin, it seems, and that is kind of the story of EnVyUs. Really just like it.
They just seem to struggle to get going, is really what it boils down to. Not to beat around the bush. Meanwhile, talking about not beating about the bush, it is going to be RPK nearly caught off as he tries to play around those back stacks. Nico does commemorate the frag, though, with a quick return. Happy bearing down on his opposition with that AWP. Olafmeister trying to create a bit of a stir up on towards A. But Scream dealing with it with a nice and crafty smoke kill yet again. The criminal back into action. As XMS, perfect backstab. Guardian left with nothing worth fighting for, as his head is going to be swiftly lost. Sixer, just another Karrigan. Trying to see if he can close this one out, but it surely should be a struggle. He's got to rush to deal with the defuse while being tacked on down from behind. That gives XMesh just enough time to sneak it in before then taking the fight for himself. One that he will wholeheartedly take home for his team. Yeah,
just all falling apart. Olaf caught in rotation on his flank and able to take down and via backstab. FaZe's defense was not there, not quite set up, and when Carrigan is in the position of having to make the clutch play for his team, that's when things could be considered awry for FaZe. 8-14 now, we've got a game on our hands, Flakes. EnVyUs are fighting for this W here, not ready to just give it up at a heartbeat. FaZe definitely looked a little bit disgruntled towards the end of the half. Once they started losing rounds, the momentum slipped out of their hands and they couldn't quite grip back. Have to see if they're able to regain their composure. Such a new roster, still Synergy just not quite finding its grip just yet. Something to consider that FaZe perhaps will struggle to regain control. Have to see if they're going to be able to do so here, as Scream has been the key player, just holding tight. Nico, though, is going to look for him. Scream will be taken down this time. Perhaps that is enough for FaZe to open up the cracks.
Right. A quick kill for him as well, doubling down on the start that FaZe found in the round. Happy trying to be problematic with that AWP, but the scope just isn't working out for him. Misses the shot. Sixer buying time with one of his own, but Happy put under so much pressure on this site right now. The Molotovs just burning on a way. RPK was aggressive, but RPK cannot do enough. Trying to hold them off. Carrigan playing around the back of Blue Train. Just take the fight here and there, but he's waiting for Nico. Nico on the lurk, trying to be the man to win it all.
Let's see what he can do here. Plenty of time to work with, 30 seconds. They have sent men back over towards the B site. EnVyUs, do they think this is going B? The bomb could still go there. Does look like FaZe are set up for this A site take. Sixer finds Nico on the lurk, and now the bomb is going to make its way up towards the A site now. Has to get it down, 16 seconds left, and the bomb will at least be planted. But EnVyUs now going to be in a position to try and retake this site here, rotating men over. Look at the positions of Rain and Carrigan. Currently holding very far back in this site. Rain has to really hold this one together. Able to find the opening frag, then chances certainly increase. There's going to be Sixer coming around the corner, his head taken off. Can RPK hold it? He can, and now Carrigan with an AWP from this back point. The smoke going to go down. It's not really a great weapon for finding people in the smoke, prodding through, and the defuse is coming through. Through the smoke, he finds one, but now he has to find another. He stopped the defuse, but it's not going to be enough, I think, to win the round. RPK with that defuse kit has the 5 seconds and the defusal just in time, and that will be EnVyUs. Another point on the board.
A ballsy move from Envy, considering their actual attempt at retaking that site was pretty poor. 1 by 1 is not the approach we were hoping to see, but they do remain fruitful at the end. They get that close-knit defuse, they get themselves just another, and they move on to 9. This is where another pause is called. This is where another breaker needs to be put in for FaZe. They are stuck on a hurdle that is 14. That's 2 rounds, just to be clear. They can't get over it. It's been 3 rounds back-to-back now that they've been able to claim. Money, something they've not been able to build up, which is a very pertinent point because it does highlight just how close those 3 rounds have been. FaZe have been bringing it down to these 1v1s, these 2v2s, a fair chunk. You see those last 2 rounds specifically, only 2 and 1 player each round surviving. The first, not so much, with 4 surviving, but that's why EnVy's economy has been so broken, those last 2 specifically.
FaZe have decided that they know exactly what they need to do here, Flakes, to, well, maybe not this round, but in the next, shut down this momentum that EnVyUs has been showing off here. It's almost a deja vu moment, I think, except far quicker and timely for EnVyUs to have found their stride here on Train. 9-14. Very soon it could be 14-14. It really just depends on how FaZe are able to change up. With Scream finding that first frag, it does make things a little bit difficult, but keep in mind it is just the pistols. This round for FaZe isn't really about taking a point home, but more just doing damage to EnVyUs.
I mean, do what you can. Try and take one of those AWPs. That's really the prime target right now. But I think overall for FaZe, they should be talking as well. They really should be. Of course, going to be searching for an opportunity nonetheless with those Deagles. See if they can get Olaf or Guardian just any closer to their opposition or get up close and personal in the face of Envy. But then you look at the map. The map being just such an easy way to spot out where every player is standing, spot out the positions, just overall the control of how it's being played out. And you see Envy holding quite far back, holding very passively, allowing FaZe to push on into them, allowing them to take the battles, which they may win in fairness to Rain. but at the same time, they can return fire just as swiftly.
NiKo is going to be pushing up deep. What can they do with this Deagle here? Any damage done is great. Oh, lines up, manages to recover. Is able to take another head off the board. Those AWP still in play for EnVyUs. Deagle versus AWP. We've seen some interesting interactions there, but Rain not quite able to connect those shots. They take down 2. You could consider that a win for FaZe. Definitely hurts the economy of EnVyUs just a little bit. But they're not having to reinvest these AWPs, which is really where the money lies. Now for FaZe, that pause and that lengthy round to just really consider what they want to do here. What can they change up in their play? How can they support each other just a little bit better? Where's that dynamic that FaZe are lacking at the moment?
Well, Guardian looking to see if he can test that. Going to go for the very early and aggressive pick. Smoked off completely though. As he debate him into popping out through the smoke. Spotting actually, I believe that Scream just up above on the train. Meanwhile, RPK going for that same aggression. Just moves himself up through the lower side of B. NiKo, smoke in hand, is going to once more be blocked off. FaZe, I wasn't sure if they would just go for something really quick, really aggressive. Just try and barrel their way out on towards A or B or something along that sort of trail of thought. But no, they're sitting far back. They're almost in quite a default, you could argue. They're just searching through various areas of the map.
The same default they used on the pistol round, currently running. But this time they have guns in hand. NiKo has been taken down. Typically it's been Olaf just pushing straight onto the A side and looking for that aggressive play, but right now holding back with Karrigan. Karrigan going to look to try and support him, see if he can't open up that entry frag. It's already that man deficit for FaZe and time's ticking down to 50 seconds. They're going to have to start to execute. They are pushing down Ivy. Guardian tries to jump over, but he cannot quite make it. Karrigan has lost his life. Olaf gets double teamed, and now Rain will be finished off. All falls apart, and the change up in plan for FaZe just didn't work out. 11 to 14 now. Another pause to come through. Perhaps FaZe haven't quite worked out what they want to do.
You don't have Olaf to instigate the aggressive fight by jumping through the smoke. He's also not only just instigating a fight, he's taking so much attention of his opposition. Then you add to the fact that you're not allowing NiKo to get into those lurking kind of spots as well. Bear in mind, let's just be very clear about this. EnVy have allowed NiKo to get himself in some of the stupidest spots. Like, just being able to get deep in towards green like that with a Deagle is so problematic. I mean, credit to them, they did handle it fairly well. He got a pick, and then they double peeked him together to stop him from having that playmaking opportunity. But the fact that he got to that point in the map really is a problem for EnVy. So if FaZe can play to that, if they can use the aggression, which in fairness has been starting around us strong, but just fix the point of closing out, I guess you could argue. That's where they can find that 15th.
It won't be just now for FaZe as they back on the pistols, but maybe we will see a change up of plan, perhaps just looking to try and get that bomb plan down quickly, or maybe they just continue to use this time for discussion's sake. Ooh, Six are overwhelmed. They're pushing straight down Ivy. The Molotov to come out to try and slow them up, and Scream just spraying through the smoke, able to find 2. Will definitely poop on that parade. Is caught in a crossfire and he is taken down, but they've handled this fairly well here, EnVyUs, and only losing Scream. They are going to be okay with that result. They have really brought this back. This is what I was worried about when we saw those odds come through, and it just looked so dire for EnVyUs as far as Betway was concerned. They hadn't really ruled out the fact that EnVyUs are a slow ticker, and FaZe are still discovering themselves.
That process seemingly much tougher than originally expected. 15 looking like such a big number for them to hit right now. The idea in this round, well, get cut down by Sixer, it seems, as he's gone aggressive. Guardian, waiting for the aggression towards B, does reward him with that early pick on towards Happy. Sixer will look for a trade now. He'll hold Titan passively or peek out in just a few moments. NiKo is spotting for that to make Olaf's fight just that little bit stronger. Meanwhile, of course, over on B, they play with the advantage they found. They move on up. They begin to gain traction towards that site. Sixer fires off a shot but gets nothing back. And he's got himself tucked in a corner. That smoke either saves him or kills him.
This is so important for FaZe as well, because look at the attention they've drawn from EnVyUs. It is going to be Scream rotating over, and now the B side is wide open, and they do not have the quick rotates to get in there. Such a great play to pull the attention across the map, and now the bomb has been planted. FaZe with control over the B side. They've got a 2-man advantage as well, and EnVyUs look like they have given up hope of this round. It is going to be match point to FaZe gifted over, it seems. Perhaps Rain can steal away some of these weapons as he spots out XMS. Scream's there ready for the returner, currently hiding his noggin. Rain lined up, ready to fire away. But it will be Scream to shut that one down. Any guns that can be taken out of the hands of EnVyUs here is a reward phase, and I think they will happily throw themselves in the line of fire for it. That all-important match point on the way for FaZe.
Olof going for the final push. Gets taken down by Sixer, who's lying in wait with that AWP. Of course, for me, what I want to ask you is, did you see where on earth RPK was looking? Because I would love to know. Because I generally didn't catch it. But the fact
I believe he was in mid-weapon change as he was trying to get quickly up into his usual spot.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but he got caught out of position, and that basically just loses the entirety of the B site, because everyone else is either far back in connector, and it just opens up the entire round for FaZe. It just gives them on a bit of a silver platter.
It's good to see that FaZe using the pause time to really just figure out exactly what they need to do, that adaptivity that Carrigan can bring to the team, the star power, just molding them with his hands. FaZe looking to finish off this map. Team EnVyUs have put up a fight, and they will continue to look to do so here. Guardian, what can he see? Nothing quite. It's going to be another slow push, it seems, for the side of FaZe Clan. Once more split across the map. Olaf split away with Nico watching his rear. Here they go towards the B site. Smokes have been set up. A minute left in play here, and Carrigan with Guardian looking like they want to peek around the corner and have a little spot onto the B site.
Peak's looking likely to come in. One smoke, of course, coming down in towards deep connector. That's to try and bait a bit more attention from the CTs. It is going to be the Heaven walkout play. Last round, they are able to annihilate RPK. This time, it is going to be happy. Guardian with the AWP to secure the kill. XMS straight on the return with the kill on towards Olaf Meister, but Guardian at it again with a second, doubling down on the lead that FaZe will find. Carrigan trying to cause a problem close up on this train. Scream, when he peeks, he will likely die, as it's such a hard angle for him to fight. He doesn't even check it. Carrigan snapping the neck swift and easy. Envy almost at that tether. Sixer with the return kill with the AWP at least makes things look a little bit more simple, a little bit more easier.
That bomb is such a bait for EnVyUs. They can see it plain as day. But how do you defuse that? Nico finds Sixer, and it's just XMS left. It has been closed out. FaZe will take this round and take the game for themselves here. Flakes able to figure themselves out and take down EnVyUs, but much closer than I think they would have been hoping for. Realistically, it is good to see that the adaptive play is there for FaZe, but maybe not as clean as they're hoping. You know, this is a team that on train, this was the really hard matchup for them. A map that EnVyUs has been favoring so heavily in their recent performances here. Now heading over towards Mirage on the next one, they'd probably be smiling, especially considering the fact that Envy don't like Mirage.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough, and especially when you're Envy, it's going to be hard just to stomach that loss in general. I mean, you just look at some of the rounds and how they played out. I mean, Guardian already very early on doing work with the Famis, a simple triple for him. It's all just pretty crafty play from FaZe. The star power, the firepower, all building up against Envy, which I think if you do a kind of just orange to apples comparison of these two teams, FaZe do have the stronger players, in fairness. And really, towards the end there, 2 mistakes. RPK, what was he looking at? Also happy on the side by himself. A beautiful pop flash, blinds all 3, but he hid behind the train. Was not peeking. A peek there, he would have been able to find at least one, you would think, before they react and start hailing towards him. And that could have just been the slowdown necessary to stop FaZe in their tracks and hold that train. It's a little bit of an issue, I think, for EnVyUs that they weren't quite able to find those closing remarks really in this game, because they certainly had some pretty good killer arguments halfway through. It just kind of fizzled away. Credit to Happy. He was having a very, very rough start, but he did start to deliver a few punchlines towards the end, including one hell of a round, which you did witness right in front of your eyes just a moment ago. That big clutch, getting the spray down kill and finishing off the final defuse in the smoke with, well, nothing better than a pistol one tap. All right, so next map is FaZe, not FaZe, it's probably FaZe's win as far as statistics are concerned. Okay. It's Mirage, okay, so, you know, it's a dire stat for the side of EnVyUs. A stat I think that would probably be best brought to you after this break. So stick around, guys, and the next map of ESL Pro League will be coming to your screens.
League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard,